Hello, I'm Harold Weinbrecht, Mayor of Cary, and I'm proud to present my 19th State of Cary address. Cary today is recognized nationally as one of the greatest communities in America. We're a community that's defined by our residents, our exceptional staff, the high quality of life, our businesses, and the exceptional business climate. But as we begin this year, we bring a lot of 2025 with us. On November 20th, 2025, we asked for the resignation of our manager, Sean Stiegel. And the reason we did that is because his directions were inconsistent with our core values. He had over-the-top spending. He had inadequate financial reporting. There was a lack of transparency with the council, the staff, and the residents. And he had an environment with those closest to him that was just not healthy. Since that time, a lot has happened. We have 3 ongoing investigations. We have an investigation by the North Carolina State Auditor. They're working with staff going through hundreds of thousands of records. And we're complying and we're helping them any way we can. We also have an internal investigation with Womble Bond Dickinson. They're going through a lot of things that we do here at Town Hall, looking for irregularities. And in the end, we hope to get recommendations on our policies and procedures to make us even stronger. And there's an investigation by the Wake County DA with the SBI. And at this time, I have very little information about that, but that is ongoing, and we welcome them, and we're helping them as well. We realize that public trust has been damaged. It takes years to create public trust and only a second to destroy it. And we realize that, and we're committed to restoring public trust. But bottom line is, Cary today is strong because we identified a problem, we confronted it, we corrected it, and we didn't ignore it. And I believe we'll emerge out of this stronger than before. Now, to get through this time in Cary's history, we need a strong leader. We need someone who knows Cary very well. And that's Russ Overton, who was the deputy town manager and is now the interim town manager. He started with Cary in 1998. He had roles in engineering, inspections. He was the assistant town manager before he became deputy town manager, and he's been our chief operating officer since 2017. His long-tenured leadership in Cary is very important during this time. It ensures continuity, it ensures organizational stability, and those are things that are essential as we move forward. One thing that has been missing in the last several years is the employee survey. We need to know how the employees feel. As we go forward, if things are not going well inside, the council, the policymakers, decision makers need to know that. So Russ has implemented a survey that we have asked for before, and we will get that shortly. And thank you, Russ, for doing that. Cary has a new council. From 2 years ago, where we had 100 years of experience on council, to this year, where 5 of our members only have 8 years of experience. That's going to mean a lot as we move forward to tackle some of the issues we need to tackle. However, I can tell you that this council is strong and knowledgeable, and they're up for the challenge. Our 2 newest members are Brittany Richards. She's representing District A. She has an educational background in public policy and history. Her passions are in preserving natural spaces, keeping a high quality of life, and making sure we have diverse housing options. Bella Huang is the new District C representative, and she has an educational background in electrical engineering and an MBA, and her passions are keeping Cary safe, vibrant, and welcoming. Transparency is going to be a key issue in moving Cary forward. Building trust is the essential piece that will make Cary successful in the future. That's why on November 20th, I asked council to stream all of council meetings, whether they are remote or in the council chambers, and my fellow colleagues agreed, and we unanimously approved that. So now you can watch anything and everything that we do as a council. We also created a manager transition frequently asked question page. The questions we're getting asked, we want you to see the answers to those questions. So you can find those on our website. In addition, we also have a public records portal where you can see all the public records that were requested and the ones that we have provided to date. Now, the previous town manager was able to control a lot of the information that went from staff to the council and from council to staff. And he did that by only meeting with council members one-on-one. So while staff might be saying one thing to the manager, that message was not getting through to the council. And he also used the information he had, pitting council members against council members. We had different information at different times. So there's a lot of problems with information between council and a lot of problems with getting information from staff. Now, Russ Overton has already stopped that practice, and we moved to a 3-by-4 practice. And what that is 2 council members and the mayor meet with the manager and at least 4 staff members. That way, we can hear from key members of the staff and council members hear at the same time the information they need to hear, because information is power and can be abused, so we want to make sure that information is shared at all times. Budget is going to be key this year. We have thousands and thousands of transactions in the budget every year, and that is summarized to hundreds of pages that the council reviews. But we want to make sure we open that even wider this year. More scrutiny than ever before. So we're having more and more work sessions as part of the budget process. In addition, we want to involve the public more in our budget process. So we're going to find ways to create events or places that the public can go, ways they can provide their feedback and interact with council about the budget. So stay tuned for more on the budget process. While all these things are going on, Cary is still Cary. And we receive dozens of accolades every year. And I think it's important this time, rather than me summarizing and just showing a few, to go through almost all of the ones we've seen. Here's some of the ones on this slide are the quality of life. We're best place to live, best medium-sized city, best on the East Coast. We're featured in Southern Living as a must-visit stop. We continuously rank #1 in North Carolina and Wake County for best place to live and raise a family. And we're even called the best suburb, even though Cary is no longer a suburb, hasn't been so for years. We're also recognized for safety, and this has also been important for years and years. And we're recognized for the national job market, unemployment rate, which is always lower than Wake County, the state and national average. We're one of the best places to retire on the East Coast and in the nation. And we're at the same time a place where young families are flocking to. We're known for our economy, our jobs, and our innovation. We have one of the best and healthiest real estate markets in the nation. New housing construction is also recognized as one of the best in the nation. We're one of the fastest growing metros in the nation. Southern cities where homes are valued, we're recognized there. Our home values are going up dramatically every year. We're a place where you can work remotely. And in some of the other areas of recognition, we had the first electric fire truck on the East Coast. And our downtown park was recognized with an Innovation and Design Award. In education and enrichment, we're recognized as one of the top cities for education. We're one of the most educated areas in the nation. We have college readiness, we're recognized there. Our facilities, our tennis facility is recognized as the #1 tennis facility in the nation. Our playground in the downtown park, one of the 10 best public playgrounds. And the downtown park itself got a Space Award. The Maiden Inn in downtown, recognized as one of the best hotels in the area and the state. Demographic-wise, Cary's about 192,000 people. We've seen a population growth from 2014 to 2024 around 16.8%. Now we're growing at less than 1%. And we're aging as a population. Now over 16% of our residents in Cary are over 65. But at the same time, the under 18 population is also growing, and that's slightly above the national average. And our median age is 43 years old. We're 54.8% white, 22% Asian, followed by Hispanic, Black, 2 or more races, Native American, and other. What's important about this year is over 26% of our residents were born in another country. And we're a well-educated community. 33% of our residents have a bachelor's degree, but now more than the bachelor's degree, 35% have graduate degrees. We also have associates and high school diplomas, but the thing is, almost 70% of our population has college degrees. Median household income continues to climb in Cary. Now $135,000 is the median household income, and that's grown dramatically in the last few years. Income growth is also growing in Cary. It's now at about over 27% in the last 5 years. Home ownership is also big in Cary. Almost 70% of the people that live in Cary own their own homes, and the average median home value is almost $650,000. And all of us almost have broadband access. Financially, as a community, we are very strong. Our tax rate is the lowest tax rate in Wake County for the 18th consecutive year, set at 34 cents. We had a budget this July 1st, that started this July 1st, of $510 million, which is a slight increase over the previous year. We cut a lot of capital projects. We only had $90 million of capital projects. It's important to understand that our revenues are limited. 61% of our revenues come from property taxes. And remember, I said that we're only growing by 1%, so the property tax isn't growing much. And then 21% of our revenue comes from sales tax, and that's also pretty much flat. A large majority of our expenses are from operations, police, fire, public works. That's 83% of our expenses. And then when you add in parks, that's another 10%. So how are we spending the taxpayer dollars? We're very, very efficient. In fact, we have less than 7 employees per 1,000 residents, which is by far the lowest in Wake County and is half of some of the communities in Wake County. Our economy is also very strong. We added over 1,200 jobs last year. Our unemployment rate, again, as I said earlier, is lower than Wake County, the state, and the national average, sitting at about 3.3% right now. And our assessed value of everything that exists in Cary continues to increase. That's a good sign. We're now worth $53.1 billion, which is a 2.5% increase over the previous year. Development in Cary is slowing. Why? Because we're running out of space. Only 14% of Cary is available for new construction. However, we do have a lot of redevelopment projects. South Hills is currently in process, and one of the things they're looking at is a municipal service district to get more services and pay more taxes for those services. One thing to note is Carolina Ballet is looking at the old Ford dealership as part of their redevelopment. I get a lot of questions about the old mall site that's owned by Epic Games, and as of right now, they have no plans to move forward. Austin Yards has been presented to the Cary Council and the staff, and that will have several hundred apartments, a hotel, and it has a linear park where they work with the town to get some of the property. And that will be a great amenity for those who live in that area. The Fenton continues to grow and is very successful. The last part of their first phase will include a new boutique hotel called the Pagemore. It will have 186 rooms and a restaurant, meeting rooms, and retail, and they're already under construction. Other development out at Green Level, we have phase 1 of the Duke Health Hospital under construction. They look to finish that around mid-2027. Phase 2 is in the review stage. It will add up to 100 beds. It will be an 8-story building with 1,200 spaces for parking. That's structured parking, by the way. There are 2 proposals in Regency for multifamily. They received negative feedback. One of them put it on hold. The other's working on changes. Weston also has a proposal next to the residential area there, and we'll see how that goes. That's currently going to be reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Board very soon. Downtown is exploding with development. Socia 56 has 2 buildings open and 2 under construction. Meridian East, which is at Hunter and Chatham, has 3 buildings and a parking deck, and that's 220 residential units, and they have thousands of square feet of retail. And then the Meridian Cary at Chatham and Academy also has 3 buildings. 2 of them are under construction. They will have 195 residential units, and 97 of them are already near occupancy, and they have a 478-space parking deck. Other things in downtown, what used to be Gherkins, now Lloyd's, at Chatham and Academy is under construction. I get to pass it every day. It's going to open later this year as a restaurant. Look forward to that. Rogers on Chatham opened in 2024, also very successful, leasing all their spaces. They have new tenants for office and retails. They have a future tenant, K38 restaurant, which is opening soon. Downtown parking, we're going to see a lot of new parking here in the spring of this year. The Cedar Street deck looks finished, but it's not. We'll have 288 public spaces, and we will have 20 ADA and EV spaces. The Academy Street deck, also opening in spring of this year, will have 222 public spaces on the bottom 3 floors, and they'll have residential parking in the upper floors and 22 ADA and EV spaces. A lot of street projects going on in Cary. We have 9 miles of streets being repaved. We also have pavement treatments going in other parts to preserve the life of the asphalt. Resurfacing going on at West Chatham from Cary Parkway to Old Apex. That's about a 1.5 mile stretch there. They're designing now how to maintain flow as that happens. There are several NCDOT projects. The resurfacing of 55, resurfacing of Trinity. They're going to put a fiber traffic signal at 1010 and Penny. And the Dillard Street, Walnut Street improvements and crosswalks are also coming. Other street projects, we see a lot of intersection improvements, such as a signal on the sidewalk at the Cary Parkway Norwell intersection. High House Bond entrance is going to see a signal. That's been asked for many, many years. We should see that this summer, and there will be some signage and sidewalk modifications there as well. Weston Parkway and Evans, the crosswalk improvements should be done by February, March of this year. They will see a repaving in the spring. There will also be pedestrian improvements at McCrimmon Parkway and Panther Creek due to a tragic accident there that has drawn a lot of attention. We're going to be designing 2 new signals with crosswalks that should be open by the time we have the 2027-2028 school year. Powell Bill returns money to Cary for street projects, and this year we received $5 million. And keep in mind, Cary maintains over 500 miles of streets, so this money is very needed. We are also implementing Vision Zero in Cary, and what that means is we are looking for 0 traffic deaths in the future, and we will make changes to things that we need to change to make that happen. That is a strong goal of ours, and we adopted it last year. Transit is also big in Cary. We're upgrading all of our bus stops to make sure they have ADA accessible landing pads, security lighting, and customer information available about routes and schedules. We're building an operation and maintenance facility, be about a 50,000 square foot facility. It will have offices and operations there, and it will have room for expansion, and that will also begin construction this year, and it should be operational by 2028. The multimodal center in downtown, which will be bounded by the 2 railroad tracks, Harrison Avenue and Northwest Street, will also begin this year as we start trying to get our design and get ready to go for construction there as well. Eventually, that will hold regional bus surface, the bus rapid transit, future commuter rail, and the Amtrak intercity rail. And they should be doing demolition and abatement soon. We do a lot with sustainability. As of 2025, here's the lowdown on our fleet. We have the first electric fire truck on the East Coast. We have 30 Dodge Durangos that were converted to biofuels. That reduces a lot of carbon emissions into the air, and we received a grant of over $210,000 to do that. 18% of our fleet now uses alternative fuels, 2% electric, 9% hybrid, and 7% biofuel. We also care about our tree canopy. Over half of Cary is trees, and we've been a tree city for over 42 years. We received a Duke Foundation grant to plant trees in Cary, and we're excited about that. And we did an update to our open space plan to talk about tree preservation, and that's nearing completion. We do a lot with recycling. We've got to keep things out of the landfill, and we need to be environmentally friendly. 71,000 tons of waste, recycling, and yard waste was diverted this past year. 33% of that was yard waste, leaves, and food, and 15% was traditional recycling. We've also started a pilot program to recycle fire and police uniforms. Stormwater is big in Cary. Before our stormwater policies, procedures, and ordinances in place, Cary was about half what it was today. So we have a lot of structures that have stormwater issues. So we've been working with thousands of property owners. We've also completed the Twin Lakes Dam rehabilitation, and we continue to model the basin of creeks and streams. And we joined FEMA Community Rating System, and that's good because it reduces your insurance by about 15%. Our staff has been working very hard in sustainability, and we've seen a lot of awards. We've seen one for sustainability and resilience, for composting, for one of the festival events, Lazy Days, for composting. And then we had our fleet manager recognized nationally as the Manager of the Year. And we also had the North Carolina Stormwater Professional of the Year. These are staff members here in Cary, and we're very proud that they're working in Cary. Housing is always an issue in Cary. We adopted the housing plan last year. It's a 5-year plan, and it recognizes how we spend the $3.5 million of CDBG funds, and over 1,000 residents provided input for that plan. We also adopted Act 32, and that allows the expansion of opportunities for accessory dwelling units in Cary, which will allow more affordable housing, and backyard cottages for in-law suites, even though most of Cary won't be allowed to do that because homeowner associations supersede Cary ordinances on ADUs. Other housing projects in Cary, the Marigold Cary, which is just off Maynard, will be completed by the spring of 2027. Over half the 126 units are affordable, some at 60% AMI, some at 80% AMI. They also have a small community park included in that. They have a green stormwater infrastructure. We're very glad that that's moving forward. The Rose Park Manor facility off of Maynard is also moving forward, and they're almost done and already are receiving requests for people to move there. And that's an 81-unit senior affordable housing project. Some of the housing initiatives we have in Cary, we have the Healthy Homes Cary, and that provides critical repairs to low-income residents. We also have the Stable Homes Cary project, and we partner with Neighbor Up and Caring Place and White Oak Foundation. And this provides relocation assistance and counseling relating to housing instability, hoping that we prevent homelessness. This is critical this year because the Chatham Estates, which has about 150 families, are going to be displaced. So they will be using the Healthy Homes Cary. My understanding is over 120 of them have already been consulting. A lot of greenways and sidewalks in Cary. In fact, we have over 107 miles of paved greenways. You add to that the 492 miles of sidewalks. That's over 600 miles of paved access for our residents. Some of the work this year, this past year was the Black Creek at White Oak. We added public art and centerline striping. The phase 2 of Black Creek renovations is expected to be completed this year. That's from Livingstone Drive to Weston Parkway. And the phase 3 of the Black Creek renovations will open later this year, and that's up to Reedy Creek Road. Other greenway and sidewalk projects. We have the Higgins Greenway Phase 3 now open. That was a critical gap to get people to downtown Cary Park, the library, and to the Cary Elementary. We also had the Connecting Cary sidewalk projects, sidewalks, streetscape trails, ped crossings, and more. Allows for ADA upgrades, some LED crosswalks, and audible pedestrian signals. We're trying to accommodate all of Cary residents with this project. Completed sidewalks, we had the Lily Atkins and the Optimus Farm Road projects completed. Sidewalk signals, by the summer of this year, we're going to see them at Westlake, Pittard Sears, West Chatham, West Boundary Street, and Weldon Ridge. Sidewalks completed this year will be, by this summer, the Southeast Cary Parkway and Penny Road. A lot of parks this year that are seeing changes. Thomas Brook Parks are seeing a lot of visitors. Over 2 million visitors visited both Thomas Brook Parks and Bond Park. That's a lot of visitors. Davis Drive Playground received a gift from the Pegram family, and they're going to open that playground in the spring of this year. And this year we celebrated the 49th Lazy Days with record crowds for this 2-day event. And that continues to be more and more successful every year. Kokobuth Amphitheater celebrated its 25th year of existence this year. And we had a mural painted commemorating that milestone. They have over 100 events at this venue every year with over 365,000 visitors. Some of the largest events are Humsub Diwali, Asia Fest, Oktoberfest, Chinese Lantern Festival. And the Chinese Lantern Festival alone provided $10 million in economic impact. And we're a finalist for the Red Rocks Award for Outdoor Concert Venue. The downtown Cary Park continues to be very successful. They had over 100,000 visitors this year. A lot of people showed up for the Pimento Cheese Festival and the Taste of China, just to name a couple. We had 67,000 dogs visit our dog park this year. The Nest Playground, #1 playground in America. The economic impact of our downtown Cary Park, and you had to have been here before it was built and know that there was nothing in downtown before that park, has been tremendous. It's $200 to $300 million in property value increase just within a half a mile of the park. We've seen 15 new businesses, which produced over 1,100 jobs. The food and beverage tax revenue has been up 11%, hotel revenue up 18%. They're estimating that the annual impact of this park is about $16 million. We also have sports venues that provide a tremendous economic impact, such as the 3 main ones are the Cary Tennis Park, Wake Med Soccer Park, and USA Baseball National Training Complex. The Cary Tennis Park was named the #1 municipal tennis facility in the nation this year. Some of the events they hosted were the ATA Women's All-American Championships, and they have that through 2033. We're also hosting professional pickleball in Cary, and my understanding is our event last year was the most well-attended in the nation. The Cary Tennis Classic Professional Tennis Tournament will be the July 4th week. Was last year and will be this year as well, and we're looking forward to that. And we also have the ACC Men's and Women's Championship held in April every year, and we have that in coming years. Wake Med Soccer Park is also very successful. The Courage had a record-setting attendance year. We held the College Cup, and that was especially great because we had NC State get to the finals of the Men's College Cup Championship. And that brought in sellout crowds for both days, the semifinals and the finals. This year, we have the College Cup not only for men and women, but the same weekend. So that's going to be a very exciting weekend. We had a football game last year that I opened up with the Apex mayor between Cary High School and Apex High School, and that was the 100th anniversary of that meeting. And in case you're wondering, Cary won. The TST, the soccer tournament, will continue this year. We have it through 2029. That's a 7-on-7 soccer tournament and has some of the best soccer players from around the world competing in this event. And that event alone provided $15 million of economic impact. And just in case you're wondering, the NCFC men's team has paused play through 2027. The USA Baseball National Training Complex has held the Division II World Series for years, and we've got it through 2038. So the home of Division II World Series is Cary. We host major tournaments. We opened the indoor facility a couple of years ago, and that's allowed staff to operate on the site year-round. Also has turf upgrades for Coleman Field. We do that about every 10 to 15 years. And they converted 2 of the fields, Field 3 and 4, to artificial surface, which will allow more play. So USA Baseball is bringing in more and more people all the time. The Imagine Cary Community Plan, that drives everything we do here in Cary. It was created by Cary citizens and approved by council in 2017. It was upgraded last year, and we're also going to have some updates this year, which will incorporate the Parks Rec Cultural Resources System Plan, the Bike Plan, and the Vision Zero principles. I've talked about a lot. Cary has done a lot. You might think Cary is at a low point. I want to tell you a story. This past summer, I was going to an event at the Maiden Inn, and in front of me was a couple pushing a stroller with a child in it. And I just barely make out what they were saying. They talked about the Booth Amphitheater. They talked about Fenton, and they were talking about some neighborhood. And then they started talking about what they saw in downtown Cary Park. And then they stopped, and they turned at each other and said, "That's it. I've seen enough. We're moving here." That Cary is still here today. Yes, we're facing some of the most significant challenges this community has faced in decades. And we have a choice. We can rip ourselves apart, which is what the media would love, or we can come together as a community. I believe in you. I believe in Cary. And our success has never depended on one person. It has depended on all of us. And I believe when we come out of this low point in Cary's history, we'll be even stronger than we were before. So thank you for listening, and thank you for being here in Cary.